SBR Forum's Punters is brought to you by Bookmaker.
I'm Peter Loshak. We're talking right now with Stephen O from AccuScore.com. Stephen has been giving us great picks and great advice on the NFL all year long. Steve, thanks for being here once again.
I'm glad I could be here.
Great call last week on Cincinnati, man. Great.
Yeah,
bet.
being 90% of the public, we're all geniuses.
God, yes. One guess. I know. I mean, hey, we've seen that a lot in the NFL in recent years, especially. You know, the public being all over a bet and the bet winning, or the publics and the sharps taking the same side. And looking at this game, we might have the same situation here. You want to talk about Philly at Pitt. Pitt's a 3-point home favorite. Total's 43. And Pitt, of course, is off of a bye. They're 1-2, which is not, they usually start pretty well under Tomlin. But both of their losses were kind of tough situations on the road. Philly's 3-1. They're not off of a bye, and all three of their wins came by a total of 4 points. So I'm looking at this thinking Pitt has to get a win here. They're off the bye, and they will definitely, be able to pull one out. So I'm thinking, man, maybe Pitt -3 is a great bet here. The only thing that gives me a little bit of pause is Pitt's not running the ball well, and Philly does have a great run defense, so they might be able to just stop Pitt.
I agree with you. I'm actually a little surprised, though. I think only 57% of the public right now is on the Steelers, and we have the Steelers at 61% chance of covering 3 points. There's a couple reasons. This is a classic case where Bill Parcells is wrong when it comes to betting. You aren't what your record says you are. The Steelers, as we know, James Harrison and Troy Polamalu have missed a couple weeks. Supposedly they are feeling much better coming off the bye week. Rashard Mendenhall will be rusty, but he's got to improve a running game that's only averaging 2.6 yards per carry. So just on the field, you see the talent coming back, the key offensive and defensive personnel for the Steelers. I looked it up since the 2011 season at home. Pittsburgh's only lost once, and despite that one loss to Baltimore, they've won by an average score of 25-10, and only one in no game have they won by less than 4 points, and all but 2 of those games they won by double digits. So the Steelers, there's every reason to believe that they will be the team that we have known about the Steelers. Now the Eagles, I don't see them as a 3-1 team. Let's face it. Cleveland defender dropped an interception that would have ended the game in week 1. I think 70% of the time the defender catches that. There were 2 non-calls on pass interference that the Eagles didn't get called on against the Ravens, which would have changed everything. The pass interference call against Ramsey's Barden probably was pass interference, but then again, I look at 4 or 5 plays that the Eagles had nothing to do with, really, and nothing positive to do with, and they got credit for them, and they have, with that, a 3-1 record. Without those plays, they're 2-2, 1-3, maybe even 0-4. If a 2-2 team goes into Pittsburgh, they're a 5.5-point underdog. If a 1-3 team goes in there, they're a 7.5-point underdog. If they're a 0-4 team, they're a 10-point underdog. And I know the talent on the Eagles. The Eagles certainly have a lot of talent, but I definitely don't see them as a 3-point underdog, which is, as you point out, the line right now.
Wow. All right. Well, but what about their run defense, their defense in general, I think is legitimately good, right?
I think they're legitimately good. And I just think that, do I think this is going to be a blowout? No. But I think that the Eagles scraped by last week, committing no turnovers. I don't think that's going to happen again. I think 1 or 2 turnovers is certainly expected. And I just don't think that when you commit a couple turnovers in Pittsburgh, you're going to hold on to anything less than 4 or 5 point loss.
All right. I'm agreeing with you, man, and I am liking it. Thanks once again. Stephen O from AccuScore.com. Talk to you next week.